Captain Elaine Reeves stood tall as the airlock doors opened. This was humanity's big moment, first contact with the Galactic Council. Her blue uniform was perfectly pressed, her short brown hair neatly combed. Behind her, 5 crew members. From the Earthship Intrepid waited nervously. The alien space station was huge. Its curved walls shimmered with strange metals. Lights and colors humans had no names for pulsed along the ceiling. Captain Reeves took a deep breath. 20 years in the Earth Alliance fleet had prepared her for many things, but not for this. "Remember," she said quietly to her team, "we represent all of humanity today." Lieutenant Alan Winters nodded. He had served with Captain Reeves for 7 years. He knew her better than anyone else on the ship. "Understood, Captain." A tall, thin alien with pale blue skin and 4 arms approached. It wore what looked like flowing robes made of liquid metal. "I am Greeter Zelnak," the alien said in perfect English. "Welcome to the central hub of the Galactic Council. We have been observing your species for some time." Captain Reeves smiled politely. "Thank you for the welcome. We are honored to be here." Zelnak led them through wide hallways. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved about. Some floated instead of walked. Others had too many limbs to count. The humans tried not to stare. "The council representatives are waiting," Zelnak said. 17. Species govern our shared space. You are the 18th to reach the stars in this sector. They entered a massive round room. 17 platforms formed a circle, each holding different alien beings. Captain Reeves and her team were directed to an empty platform that rose up to join the circle. A large creature with rough, stone-like skin spoke first. Its voice rumbled like distant thunder. "I am High Counselor Ixar of the Planetary Concordant. We welcome humans to the galactic community." One by one, the representatives introduced themselves. Some seemed friendly. Others were clearly suspicious of the newcomers. The last to speak was a tall, reptilian being with scales that shifted color like oil on water. "I am Ambassador Vexilor of the Drexari Dominion," it said with a slight hiss. "While we acknowledge your arrival, we must proceed with caution. New species often lack the maturity to participate as equals." Captain Reeves kept her face neutral, but Lieutenant Winters saw her fingers tighten slightly on the railing. "The Council proposes these terms for Earth's provisional membership," Vexler continued. A holographic document appeared in front of Captain Reeves. "You will limit your expansion to your home solar system. You will share all your technology for our review. You will accept guidance from assigned Council mentors. In return, you receive our protection." The terms scrolled on. No new colonies, without permission. No independent research into certain technologies. No direct contact with non-Council species. Lieutenant Winters watched the other aliens carefully. Some looked uncomfortable. Others nodded in agreement. This wasn't a fair deal. This was a cage designed to look like a welcome mat. Captain Reeves read every word before looking up. The council chamber had fallen silent, waiting for the human response. Everyone expected confusion or perhaps angry protests. Instead, Captain Reeves smiled. It was a small smile, the kind that didn't reach her eyes. To the aliens who had never studied human expressions, it looked like acceptance. To Lieutenant Winters, who had seen that exact smile before, it was a warning sign. "The Dragzari proposal is most thorough," Captain Reeves said calmly. "We appreciate the Council's consideration. Earth would be honored to take these terms back for review. Perhaps we could discuss some details further." Ambassador Vexilor's scales rippled with satisfaction. The guest quarters on the alien station were larger than they needed. Captain Elaine Reeves gathered her team in the central room after making sure no one could hear them. The walls were smooth and white, with strange glowing patterns that changed color slowly. "They're watching us," she said simply, "but not as closely as they think." Lieutenant Alan Winters looked worried. "Those terms they offered us were terrible, Captain." "Worse than terrible," said weapons specialist Olivia Nash. She was a short woman with dark skin and strong arms. "They want to keep us trapped in our own solar system while they take whatever they want from us." Captain Reeves nodded. "I noticed something while that snake Vexilor was talking." Three of the council members looked uncomfortable. They don't all agree with the Dragzari. Gregory Patel, the ship's xenolinguist, sat cross-legged on the floor. He had spent the meeting studying the aliens' body language. The small floating ones, the Lorani. They seemed upset by the terms. And the plant beings were releasing a scent that my translator said shows disagreement. "Good eye, Greg," said Captain Reeves. "Now, let me show you what I found." She pulled out a small device and pressed a button. A hologram appeared above the table. It showed what looked like secret files. "How did you get these?" asked Daniel Sutton, the tactical officer. His eyes were wide with surprise. Captain Reeves smiled again, that dangerous smile. "Their security systems are good, but they weren't designed to keep out humans. While Vexilor was busy talking down to us, I connected my personal device to their network through the display panel. They didn't think a primitive human could break their codes. The hologram showed documents and images, reports of Dragzari ships attacking peaceful worlds, records of technologies stolen from younger species, evidence of treaties broken. The Dragzari have done this before," Captain Reeves explained. "They find new species, force them into unfair agreements, then slowly take everything valuable. They've destroyed at least 3 civilizations that tried to break free." Lieutenant Winters looked at the evidence with growing anger. "They see us as their next victims." "Yes, but they've made a big mistake," said Captain Reeves. "They don't understand humans. They expect us to either sign their treaty out of fear or refuse openly. They don't expect us to smile and play along while we work against them." "What's our plan?" asked Olivia Nash, already checking her weapons discreetly. "First, we need more information," the captain said. "Greg, you and Daniel will continue attending the cultural exchange meetings. Learn everything you can about the other species, especially those who seemed unhappy with the Dragzari." They nodded. "Olivia, I want you to map this station, find all exits, security points, and weapon systems. Do it casually, like you're just a curious human exploring." "Yes, Captain," Olivia said with a slight smile. "Alan, you and I will keep negotiating with the Council. We'll act interested but confused by their complex terms. We'll ask for more time, more explanations. The longer we stay, the more we learn." "Lieutenant." Winters understood. "They think we're stalling because we're afraid to say no, but really we're gathering intelligence." "Exactly," said Captain Reeves. "And I have one more task for all of us." She pulled out 5 small devices, no bigger than a fingernail. "These are data collectors I brought just in case. Place them near any computer terminals you find. They'll copy information and send it back to the Intrepid." The crew took the tiny devices carefully. "We have 3 days before Earth expects our first report," Captain Reeves said. "By then I want enough evidence to show the Council's true nature to everyone back home, and to the other species who have been tricked by the Dragzari." They all nodded, faces serious but determined. "Remember," Captain Reeves said, "act friendly, act impressed, act a little naive. Let them think we're simple humans, amazed by their advanced civilization." As they prepared to leave their quarters, Lieutenant Winters stopped beside his captain. "They have no idea what they've started, do they?" Captain Reeves straightened her uniform. "No, Alan, they think this is a diplomatic meeting. They don't realize it's the beginning of a war, a quiet war they've already started losing." She smiled. That dangerous smile one more time before stepping into the hallway, face immediately changing to one of innocent wonder at the alien technology around her. "John, of course. We have prepared quarters for your delegation during this process." As they left the council chamber, Lieutenant Winters moved closer to his captain. "That smile," he whispered. "I know that smile." Captain Reeves kept her eyes forward. "They think we're children, Alan. They expect us to be naive. What are we going to do?" Her smile returned, sharper this time. "Exactly what they don't expect." 3 days passed on the Galactic Council station. The aliens thought they were teaching the humans about advanced civilization. They did not realize the humans were learning much more than they were being shown. Communications Officer Lisa Rivera sat in the station's common area. She looked like she was just enjoying a drink while watching the stars through a large window. In reality, She was testing a new channel back to Earth. The small device hidden in her drink sent signals that bounced between relay points the crew had planted around the station. "Beautiful view," said a passing alien with 6 eyes. Lisa smiled and nodded. "It's amazing. We don't have anything like this back home." The alien moved on, pleased with the human's simple wonder. As soon as it was gone, Lisa tapped a code on her glass. The message went out. "Channel secure, Earth Command receiving data." Across the station, engineer Frank Holloway was being given a tour of the power systems. The Drazari guide showed him only the basic parts, explaining them slowly as if to a child. "This is our energy distribution center. It powers the whole station using technology your people won't develop for centuries." Frank looked suitably impressed. "Wow, it's so advanced." He pretended to stumble, putting his hand against a wall panel to steady himself. The tiny device in his palm attached to the panel, invisible to anyone not looking for it. "Careful," the Drazari said with a tone of superiority. "Perhaps we should continue to more stable areas." "Thank you," Frank said humbly. "I'm just a bit overwhelmed by all this." The Drazari guide led him away, not noticing that Frank had just gained access to the station's entire power grid layout. In another part of the station, Captain Reeves was meeting with Ambassador Vexilor again. The reptilian diplomat's scales shifted to bright colors as he spoke. "We hope you have had time to consider our generous offer," Vexilor said. "The Council is eager to welcome Earth as a protected species." Captain Reeves kept her face friendly but confused. "We are still trying to understand some parts of the agreement. On Earth, we usually have more equal partnerships." Vexilor's scales darkened slightly. "Equal? You misunderstand, Captain. You are newcomers to space. There cannot be equality yet. Perhaps in a few hundred years once humans have matured." "I see," said Captain Reeves, looking appropriately disappointed. "How long did it take the Lorani to become full council members?" The question caught Vexilor off guard. "The Lorani? They are a special case. And the Zeth? I heard they joined the council quite quickly." Vexilor's scales flashed red briefly. "Who told you about the Zeth joining process?" Captain Reeves blinked innocently. "Oh, just something I overheard. I find all the council history fascinating." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Winters was making friends with a young Lorani diplomat named Pelta. The floating, jellyfish-like alien seemed genuinely interested in humans. "Your species is quite remarkable," Pelta said in a musical voice. "Most newcomers are not so observant." "We're just trying to learn," Alan said modestly. "Though some of the council rules seem strange to us." Pelta's tentacles curled inward slightly. "The rules have changed over time. Once the council truly welcomed new species as equals. Now the Drazari and Zeth have too much power." "That's unfortunate," Alan said carefully. "On Earth, we believe in helping younger civilizations grow, not controlling them." "A beautiful concept," Pelta whispered. "Some of us share it." Back in their quarters that night, the human crew gathered again. Captain Reeves looked at each of them with pride. "Report," she said simply. Lisa spoke first. "Earth Command is receiving everything. Admiral Boyd says to continue gathering intelligence." Frank was next. "I've mapped the entire power system. They have 3 backups, but all run through the same control point. The Lorani and at least 4 other species are unhappy with Drazari leadership," Alan added. "They might be potential allies." Captain Reeves nodded. "Good work, everyone. Tomorrow we move to Phase 2. I'm going to request a tour of their military facilities." "They'll never show us that," Olivia said. Captain Reeves smiled her dangerous smile. The next day, tension grew on the Galactic Council station. Rumors spread among the alien delegates. Some said the humans were too quiet. Others thought they were too curious. Ambassador Vexilor called an emergency meeting with his Drazari advisors. "The humans are taking too long to accept our terms," Vexilor hissed. His scales were dark red with frustration. "They should be grateful for our protection." His chief advisor leaned forward. "Perhaps they are more clever than we thought." Impossible, Vexler said. They barely left their solar system 50 years ago. They know nothing of galactic politics. At that moment, Captain Reeves was putting the next part of her plan into action. She had asked Security Officer Paul Blackwell to create some distractions. Paul was good at his job. Paul walked through the station's main hall carrying a small box. He accidentally dropped it near a group of Zeth military officers. The box broke open, spilling dozens of small metal balls across the floor. "I'm so sorry," Paul said, looking embarrassed. He bent down to pick up the balls. The Zeth officers watched with annoyance. Then one of the metal balls rolled under a decorative panel and made a strange clicking sound. A hidden camera emerged from the wall, then quickly retreated. "What was that?" one Zeth officer asked sharply. Other aliens in the hall had seen it too. A Lorani diplomat floated over quickly. "That was a surveillance device," the Lorani said. "Who is monitoring this area?" The Zeth officers looked suspicious. "We thought it might be your people, Lorani." As the aliens argued, Paul quietly collected his metal balls and moved away. His accident had exposed one of the many secret cameras. The Drexari used to spy on other council members. Meanwhile, Captain Reeves was meeting with High Counselor Ixar. The stone-skinned alien was the head of the entire council. "High Counselor, thank you for seeing me," Captain Reeves said politely. "You requested this meeting, Captain. What troubles you?" Ixar's voice rumbled like rocks falling. Captain Reeves looked concerned. "I've been told different things by different council members. The Drexari say one thing about how Earth should join the council, but the Lorani suggested another approach entirely." High Counselor Ixar shifted uncomfortably. "The Drexari handle most new species integration." "Yes, but I found some old council records that show this wasn't always the case." Captain Reeves pulled out a data pad. According to this, new species once had equal voting rights from the beginning. Ixar's rocky face showed surprise. "Where did you get those records?" Captain Reeves smiled innocently. "They were in the public library section. Weren't they supposed to be available?" Across the station, Lieutenant Winters was having tea with Pelta, the Lorani diplomat, and a representative of the plant-like Thora species. "So you see," Alan was saying, "on Earth we have a saying, divide and conquer. It means, if you want to control a group, you make them fight each other." The Thora's leaves rustled with interest. "An insightful concept. Who taught you this strategy?" "It's just something from our history," Alan said. "We learned it the hard way." Pelta's tentacles waved thoughtfully. "It sounds like what the Drexari have been doing to the council for centuries." "Really?" Alan asked, acting surprised. "How so?" As the aliens began explaining Drexari manipulation tactics, they didn't notice Alan secretly recording everything. That evening, security alarms rang through part of the station. The Zeth military delegation had discovered surveillance devices in their private quarters. They blamed the Drexari, who denied everything, and blamed the Lorani. In their human quarters, Captain Reeves watched the chaos with satisfaction. "Paul, excellent work today," she said to her security officer. Paul nodded. 3 more hidden cameras exposed. The Zeth are furious. "And I gave High Counselor Ixar something to think about," Captain Reeves added. "He didn't know we had access to those old records." Gregory Patel looked up from his datapad. "Captain, I found something important in their language database. The Drexari word for protect is the same as their word for control or own. When they offer us protection, they're really saying they want to own us," Captain Reeves finished. "Send that to Earth Command immediately." Lieutenant Winters looked worried. "The Drexari are getting suspicious. Vexelor has requested a full security sweep of this section tomorrow." Captain Reeves nodded calmly. "Good. That means our plan is working. Let them look for spies and saboteurs. They won't find anything." "What will they find?" asked Olivia. "Just some confused humans who don't understand why everyone is suddenly arguing," Captain Reeves said with that dangerous smile. "The seeds of doubt have been planted. Now we wait for them to grow. Hay will if they think they're intimidating us, and while they're busy showing off their weapons, Greg will access their central database. The Drexari are starting to suspect something. Lieutenant Winters warned. Vexlor was asking about you today. Let them suspect, Captain Reeves said, calmly. By the time they figure out what we're really doing, it will be too late. Humans have one advantage they don't understand. What's that, Captain? Asked Lisa. We look harmless when we smile. A week had passed since the humans arrived at the Galactic Council station. The mood had changed. Where once there was unity, now there was suspicion. Council members who had worked together for centuries now questioned each other's motives. Captain, Reeves entered the main council chamber for an emergency meeting. All 17 alien representatives were already there, sitting in tense silence. Ambassador Vexlor's scales were almost black with anger. You have been summoned, Captain. Hi, Councillor Ixar said, because we must resolve this situation. What situation, High Councillor? Captain Reeves asked innocently. Vexler stood up, his clawed hand pointing at the humans. You have delayed accepting our generous terms while causing disruption throughout the station. Now we learn that one of your colonies is expanding beyond your solar system, against our explicit instructions. Captain Reeves looked surprised. I wasn't aware of any colony expansion. We've been here with you the whole time. Do not play games, Vexlor hissed. The Dragzari Dominion has detected human ships near the Centauri system. This violation cannot stand. We will send ships to escort them back to Earth immediately. Murmur ran through the council chamber. This was a direct threat. Captain Reeves's face grew serious. Ambassador Vexlor, are you threatening military action against civilians? They are violating council directives. Directives we have not yet agreed to, Captain Reeves said calmly. Then she touched a small device on her wrist. Captain Reeves to Intrepid, connect me to Earth Command, please. A large hologram appeared in the center of the council chamber. It showed a stern-faced woman in a military uniform with many medals. Admiral Catherine Boyd of Earth Command looked out at the assembled aliens with cold eyes. This is Admiral Boyd. I understand there's a situation, Captain Reeves? Yes, Admiral. The Dragzari are threatening military action against our research outpost in the Centauri system. Admiral Boyd's expression didn't change. I see. And have you informed the Council about what we discovered? I was just about to, Admiral. Captain Reeves turned to face the Council. Honored representatives, for the past week we've been gathering information about how the Council truly operates. We've discovered that the Dragzari have been manipulating newer species for centuries, keeping them weak and dependent while taking their resources. She pressed a button on her device. Images and documents appeared around the chamber. Evidence of Dragzari ships attacking peaceful planets. Secret agreements between the Dragzari and Zeth to divide territories. Records of technology stolen from developing species. This is lies, Vexlor shouted, but his scales had turned pale. The evidence comes from your own records, Captain Reeves said. We also found this. A new image appeared. A Dragzari battle plan for containing Earth. If humans refused to cooperate, the council chamber erupted in shouting. The Lorani representatives floated higher in agitation. The plant-like Thora extended thorny defensive limbs. The stone-skinned High Councillor Ixar stood up, causing silence to fall. Is this true, Vexlor? Ixar demanded. We must sometimes take strong measures to maintain order, Vexlor said defiantly. Humans are dangerous and unpredictable. They cannot be allowed to spread through the galaxy unchecked. Admiral Boyd spoke from the hologram. Perhaps you should check what's happening. Right now, Ambassador. New images appeared, showing Earth ships appearing near key Dragzari outposts throughout the galaxy. Not military vessels, but clearly armed. We've been building these ships in secret for years, Admiral Boyd said. We suspected we might not be alone in the universe. We prepared accordingly. Captain Reeves stepped forward. The Dragzari have two choices. Either acknowledge Earth and all other developing species as full council members with equal rights, or Earth will form a new alliance with others who have been exploited. Vexlor hissed with rage. This is an act of war. Captain Reeves finally let her dangerous smile show fully. No, Ambassador. This is an act of just chaos erupted after the council meeting. The Dragzari delegation rushed to their private chambers, sending urgent messages to their fleet. Vexler's scales flashed angry, colors as he barked orders to his staff. Activate our weapons on the station. Lock down the human quarters. We cannot let them continue this disruption. But nothing happened when his aide pressed the control panel. The systems aren't responding, Ambassador, the aide said with fear in his voice. Across the station, the same scene played out. Drugzari security forces found their weapons wouldn't activate. Communication systems sent messages nowhere. Door locks refused to engage. In the human quarters, Science Officer Benjamin Howard watched all this on a small screen. His fingers moved quickly over a control pad as he directed the tiny nanobots he had released throughout the station days earlier. The Drugzari security systems are completely disabled, Ben reported to Captain Reeves. Their internal communications are blocked. Captain Reeves nodded. Good work. Make sure emergency systems and life support remain functional. We're not here to hurt anyone. Lieutenant Winters looked at the tactical display showing Earth ships positioned near Drugzari outposts. Admiral Boyd timed this perfectly. The Drugzari never saw our ships coming. Because they were already there, Captain Reeves explained. Earth has been quietly building outposts disguised as trade stations for years. We suspected we might meet hostile aliens eventually. Olivia Nash checked her weapons. Should we expect Drugzari soldiers to come after us? They'll try, Captain Reeves said, but they won't get far. On the command level of the station, High Counselor Ixar called together representatives from the non-Drugzari species. His stone face showed deep concern. The station systems are malfunctioning, he rumbled. The Drugzari claim the humans are responsible. Pelta, the Lorani diplomat, floated nervously. Perhaps we should speak with Captain Reeves directly. I agree, said the Thora representative, leaves rustling. The humans have shown evidence of Drugzari deception. We should hear their side. Before Ixar could respond, the doors slid open. Captain Reeves entered with her medical officer, Dr. Samantha Willis. High Counselor, I apologize for the disruption, Captain Reeves said calmly. We had to make sure the Drugzari couldn't start a fight they would regret. Ixar's rocky features hardened. You have taken control of council systems. This is unprecedented. So is threatening a new species with military action for simply questioning. Unfair terms, Captain Reeves countered. But we mean no harm to the council itself. Dr. Willis stepped forward with a data pad. During my time treating various council representatives, I've gathered physiological data on all species present. I could have developed weapons to target specific weaknesses. Instead, I've used this information to create non-lethal incapacitation methods. The aliens looked at each other with surprise and concern. Right now, Admiral Boyd's ships could destroy the Drugzari fleet, Captain Reeves continued. But they won't fire unless attacked first. Humans don't want war. We want fair treatment. A loud banging came from the doors. Angry Drugzari voices shouted on the other side. Your nanobots won't. Hold them forever, Ixar observed. They don't need to, Captain Reeves said. Just long enough for you to decide. Decide what? Asked a Zeth military officer. Whether you want to continue under Drugzari rule or help create a more equal council. The doors suddenly burst open. Ambassador Vexelor stormed in with several armed Drugzari. Arrest the humans, he shouted. They have attacked the council. But none of the security forces moved. They looked to High Counselor Ixar instead. Ixar stood very still for a moment, then turned to Vexelor. No, Ambassador. The humans have exposed the truth. For too long, we have allowed the Drugzari to control council policy. This ends today. Vexelor's scales turned almost white with shock. You cannot believe these primitives over us. We have guided the council for centuries. You have manipulated us, Pelta said, floating higher. The evidence is clear. The Thora representative's thorns extended fully. The Drugzari destroyed 2 of our colony worlds when we questioned their authority 50 years ago. The records Captain Reeves found prove it. Other representatives nodded and murmured in agreement. Vexler looked around wildly, seeing his power slipping away. He pulled out a hidden weapon and aimed it at Captain Reeves. This human has turned you against us. She must be eliminated. Before he could fire, Olivia Nash stepped from behind Captain Reeves and fired a small device. Vexler froze in place, his scales locked in a pattern of rage and fear. Temporary paralysis, Dr. Willis explained. He'll recover in about an hour. Captain Reeves looked at the assembled council members. Now, shall we discuss the future of the galaxy without threats? The Earth does not want war, but we will not accept slavery disguised as protection. She turned to the other council members. Many of you have suffered under Droxari influence. You don't have to anymore. Join us in reforming the council, or join us in creating something new. Several representatives nodded slowly. Pelta, the Lorani moved closer to Captain Reeves in a show of support. Even some of the Zeth looked thoughtful. High Counselor Ixar's rocky face was unreadable as he said, "This council session will recess while we consider these developments." As the aliens filed out, Lieutenant Winters whispered to Captain Reeves, "They finally understand what your smile means." "Yes," she replied quietly. "It means humans fight back." 2 days later, the Galactic Council reconvened. The Great Chamber looked different now. The Droxari delegation sat in regular seats, not on their raised platform. Their special voting console had been removed. Ambassador Vexler was gone, replaced by a younger Droxari who watched the proceedings with nervous eyes. Captain Reeves stood in the center of the chamber. Behind her were Admiral Boyd and several other human officers who had arrived from Earth. Ships. The Admiral's stern face softened with pride as she watched Captain Reeves prepare to address the council. High Counselor Exar raised his stone hand for silence. "This special session will now begin. Captain Reeves of Earth will present the human proposal for council reform." Captain Reeves looked around at the alien faces watching her. Some showed hope, others doubt, a few fear. This was the moment that would change everything. "Honored representatives of the Galactic Council," she began, "humans come from a world with a long history of both conflict and cooperation. We have learned hard lessons about power and fairness. Today I present what we call the human doctrine." She activated a holographic display showing simple, clear principles written in multiple languages. First, all species deserve respect and independence regardless of their technological advancement. Second, knowledge and technology should be shared, not hoarded. Third, disputes must be settled through peaceful means whenever possible. The Yaud principles continued, each one addressing problems the humans had discovered in the current council structure. As Captain Reeves explained each point, many council members nodded in agreement. "We could have destroyed the Droxari fleet," Captain Reeves continued. "Instead, our ships simply disabled their weapon systems and engines. No lives were lost. This restraint is a core human value." The new Droxari representative spoke up. "My people have ruled through strength for generations. Why should we accept these changes?" "Because strength without wisdom leads to destruction," Captain Reeves answered. "The Droxari dominated others because you believed technological advancement was the only measure of worth. But there are many forms of advancement." Navigation Officer Julie Ramirez stepped forward, carrying a small device. "With your permission, Captain?" Captain Reeves nodded. Julie placed the device on the floor and activated it. A shimmering field appeared, then expanded into a portal showing Earth's solar system. "This is a small demonstration of human jump drive technology," Julie explained. "We developed it 10 years ago but kept it hidden. It allows instant travel between any 2 points in space." The council chamber filled with gasps and murmurs. Such technology was far beyond what even the Droxari possessed. "We didn't share this before because we feared it might be used to harm others," Captain Reeves said. "In the new council we envision, such fears would be unnecessary." High Counselor Ixar leaned forward. "Your species has surprised us, Captain Reeves. You appeared weak yet concealed great strength. You seemed naive, yet understood our politics better than we did ourselves. Why did you not simply take control?" Captain Reeves smiled, but this time it was a genuine smile, warm and hopeful. "Because true strength comes from lifting others up, not pushing them down. Earth doesn't want to rule the galaxy. We want to help build something better than what came before." Admiral Boyd stepped forward. The Earth Alliance formally requests equal membership in a reformed Galactic Council, with the same rights and responsibilities as all other members. The council chamber grew quiet as Ixar considered this request. His rocky features shifted, slightly in what might have been a smile of his own. "I have served as High Counselor for 300 years, he rumbled. "In that time, I have seen much change, but nothing like this. The old council is broken. Perhaps it is time for something new to take its place." He stood towering over everyone. "I call for a vote on accepting the human doctrine as the foundation for a new galactic charter, with Earth as a founding member with full rights." 2 days later, the Galactic Council reconvened. The Great Chamber looked different now. The Dragzari delegation sat in regular seats, not on their raised platform. Their special voting console had been removed. Ambassador Vexeler was gone, replaced by a younger Dragzari who watched the proceedings with nervous eyes. Captain Reeves stood in the center of the chamber. Behind her were Admiral Boyd and several other human officers who had arrived from Earth ships. The Admiral's stern face softened with pride as she watched Captain Reeves prepare to address the council. High Counselor Exar raised his stone hand for silence. "This special session will now begin. Captain Reeves of Earth will present the human proposal for council reform." Captain Reeves looked around at the alien faces watching her. Some showed hope, others doubt, a few fear. This was the moment that would change everything. "Honored representatives of the Galactic Council," she began, "humans come from a world with a long history of both conflict and cooperation. We have learned hard lessons about power and fairness. Today I present what we call the human doctrine." She activated a holographic display showing simple, clear principles written in multiple languages. First, all species deserve respect and independence regardless of their technological advancement. Second, knowledge and technology should be shared, not hoarded. Third, disputes must be settled through peaceful means whenever possible. The Yaod principles continued, each one addressing problems the humans had discovered in the current council structure. As Captain Reeves explained each point, many council members nodded in agreement. "We could have destroyed the Draxari fleet," Captain Reeves continued. "Instead, our ships simply disabled their weapon systems and engines. No lives were lost. This restraint is a core human value." The new Draxari representative spoke up. "My people have ruled through strength for generations. Why should we accept these changes?" "Because strength without wisdom leads to destruction," Captain Reeves answered. "The Draxari dominated others because you believed technological advancement was the only measure of worth. But there are many forms of advancement." Navigation Officer Julie Ramirez stepped forward, carrying a small device. "With your permission, Captain?" Captain Reeves nodded. Julie placed the device on the floor and activated it. A shimmering field appeared, then expanded into a portal showing Earth's solar system. "This is a small demonstration of human jump drive technology," Julie explained. "We developed it 10 years ago but kept it hidden. It allows instant travel between any 2 points in space." The council chamber filled with gasps and murmurs. Such technology was far beyond what even the Drexari possessed. "We didn't share this before because we feared it might be used to harm others," Captain Reeves said. "In the new council we envision, such fears would be unnecessary." High Counselor Ixar leaned forward. "Your species has surprised us, Captain Reeves. You appeared weak yet concealed great strength. You seemed naive, yet understood our politics better than we did ourselves. Why did you not simply take control?" Captain Reeves smiled, but this time it was a genuine smile, warm and hopeful. "Because true strength comes from lifting others up, not pushing them down. Earth doesn't want to rule the galaxy. We want to help build something better than what came before." Admiral Boyd stepped forward. "The Earth Alliance formally requests equal membership in a reformed Galactic Council, with the same rights and responsibilities as all other members." The council chamber grew quiet as Ixar considered this request. His rocky features shifted, slightly in what might have been a smile of his own. "I have served as High Counselor for 300 years, he rumbled. In that time, I have seen much change, but nothing like this. The old council is broken. Perhaps it is time for something new to take its place. He stood, towering over everyone. I call for a vote on accepting the human doctrine as the foundation for a new galactic charter, with Earth as a founding member with full rights. One by one, the representatives voted. The Lorani, the Thora, and 12 other species voted in favor. The Zeth abstained. Only the Drexari voted against. The motion carries, Ixar announced. The reform begins today. As cheers filled the chamber, Lieutenant Winters leaned close to Captain Reeves. That smile of yours started a war after all. Not a war, she corrected him. A revolution. And revolutions change everything. One by one, the representatives voted. The Lorani, the Thora, and 12 other species voted in favor. The Zeth abstained. Only the Draxari voted against. The motion carries, Ixar announced. The reform begins today. As cheers filled the chamber, Lieutenant Winters leaned close to Captain Reeves. That smile of yours started a war after all. Not a war, she corrected him. A revolution. And revolutions change everything.